Well, we have a ways to go as far as our rain gear situation,
Yeah.
it turns out.
I was talking about like inner speak, but yes.
Yes.
We also do have the ability to change the rain gear.
Yes.
Which
Sorry, I
will
didn't
help
mean to
me not
ignore what
have
you were
to.
saying. I just thought, I agree with
Push
everything that you said. We exist in a society where we alone can impact how our perspective is on things.
Yeah, but we can also use rain gear to impact our perspective
Yes.
when it's raining.
Yes.
Yeah, it's weird. The rain gear we got from like a real they make like construction worker rain gear. So we expected it to work really well, and I don't know, we've also haven't transitioned. I think we're still using the lightest ones. We got a few different jackets, and I think we're using the lightest jacket and the lightest pant right now. So I don't know, there might be some that are thicker that'll work better, but yeah, by like halfway through the day, it feels like the water starts to come through the material.
I would say even earlier than that for
Really?
me. I think it depends, I think, on what material you're wearing underneath.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is all speculation. We need to contact the people that made the coats, and
Yeah.
we need to do it soon, because in the summer it was not an issue. We did get soaked in the summer because we walked through 2 tropical storms.
Right.
But it was warm enough that it didn't really matter, and you're just wet, and that's fine. Now, the days that it rained last week, the 2 days it rained, it was in the mid-50s or so.
Yeah.
And although that's still pretty warm, it was cool enough that when your body is completely wet, it creates some real problems. And we were, by the end of the day, unable to operate our hands very well.
Yeah.
Which was alarming. And it took about a half hour for them to get back to normal after we had taken a shower and kind of relaxed a little bit. And
Yeah.
that's obviously not acceptable, because
No, especially as it's getting colder,
Yeah.
and especially as there's like a lethal virus
Right.
going around. I don't want anything to be cold and wet and damp and feeling like, oh, this is the environment to get sick in.
Right. So if we have an all-day rain situation and it's in the low 40s, we could very seriously get sick.
Yeah.
So we need
So
to
we gotta get on that.
Yeah, we need to contact the company and figure out, like, certainly we're not going to return them. And
No.
I'll say a nice thing about the rain gear is that it makes people inquire about what we're doing,
Yeah.
which is really cool. So they're
they're like full rain suits, and they're branded with our logo on the back.
Yeah.
So
that's really great.
Every time we've worn them, at least recently, we're stopped. Like, if there was one particular time we went to get a smoothie, and both the person making the smoothie and then like some of the other customers that were there before us stopped and wanted to know about our raincoats, and then we were able to tell them why we were wearing such nice rain gear.
Yeah.
So that's nice.
Yes.
But yeah, we want it to also function.
Yeah. And I don't necessarily blame the jacket company. I don't think it's a
No.
failure of whatever's going on there. I maybe it's intended to have a rain shell worn underneath or something. Hopefully they have some sort of tips for us.
Yeah,
But
they were nice. When I ordered them, it's a company based in Massachusetts called Galton.
yeah.
And when I ordered them, I was able to just speak to this woman directly, and she was super friendly and easy to talk to. And yeah, I'm sure we'll give them a call and see what's going on.
And then another thing that we need to acquire are gloves.
Yeah.
And for those that are familiar with how we've been handling our clothing, we have acquisition tiers for clothing based on ethical means, the top one being used and secondhand, and then after that being things that are US made, ideally union made, and then non-union made but ethically, and so on and so forth. And we've done some light searching. We're going to need to do some more searching, so we'll see how this goes. And ultimately we do a lot for what we consider functional necessity as far as preserving our health. So it may come down to that, we'll see. But presently it seems that for gloves that are made in the United States, there are not a lot of options.
Yeah.
There are a lot of work gloves, which is kind of an interesting thing that when you look up US made clothing, a lot of it is work related.
Yeah.
And I wonder why that is. If, I don't know, it would be pure speculation. I have no idea. But maybe you can charge more for work gloves because there's business associated with it.
Yeah, it also might be because it's like a lot of the work, like manual labor work, is unionized.
Yeah.
So they want to support other, it's like, I don't know, unionized stuff and USA made feels like it goes hand in hand.
Yeah, I mean, it almost feels like an attitude. It's like, yeah, if we're US and we're going to make clothes, it's going to be clothes that you work with. I don't know. It's so strange.
Yeah.
But are just people, you know, when they think about what they're going to buy for their everyday, it doesn't feel right to them to spend $50 on a shirt. But a lot of these gloves are $50 for gloves, and you think, well, I'm going to use these for years. Maybe $50 seems reasonable, you know?
Yeah, if it's like part of your uniform or your kit or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's also probably like, yeah, in fashion, fast fashion
Yeah.
is mostly made in poor conditions outside of the States. So if you're doing like USA made fashion, I mean, it might be about quantities. I don't like, it could be a number of different things.
Yeah. But so far, the closest things we found are gloves that were designed in the Hudson Valley.
Right.
Which you read something like that, and we need to do a little more inquiry into that. But it feels a lot like with the fashion, with the fast food industries, when they say, you know, hormone-free, made with the freshest ingredients, you know, all natural. It's like designed in doesn't really mean anything. Just
well,
like,
honestly, made in doesn't necessarily, or
assembled
in doesn't mean anything either.
As we've identified, that these, for those that aren't familiar, assembled in the USA just means that there is some component of the product that was put together in the US, but it doesn't necessarily mean...
It could be as simple as one button was sewn on or the tag was sewn on in the US or something like that is enough to... I mean, there's not enough regulation on fashion.
Yeah.
And like that, there's a lot of labor that goes into something that every single person, unless you're a nudist, is part of and is buying. And yeah, there's really very little regulation.
Yeah. So that will be a project for us in the coming weeks.
Yeah.
It looks like it is going to rain multiple times next week. However, not with the all-day rain, at least to this point, who knows?
Yeah.
That was suggested last week.
Yeah,
if it does rain all day, we'll get through it, but it's
Yeah.
not something that we can really waste time on anymore.
I think we definitely have to test out our other, I mean, we have 5 rain outfits each, and we've really only used 2 of them each.
Yeah.
So I think we have to test out the other stuff we have too while we're trying to figure it all out.
Yeah.
It's kind of it's a tricky one because it really, now that we're in this and doing it, like the time is just going to keep going forward. It's just going to keep getting colder, and like when it rains is when we can test it. We really can't test it any other way. So if the rainy days are all day rainy days, it's like, that's okay, well, we'll see.
Yeah.